Welcome to TehachaPod. Sit back and relax as Budge and Costelloe talk about things that are happening in and around Tehachapi. Here's Corey and Key.
Welcome to another edition of TehachaPod. Costelloe, Budge, and we have a special guest today as she probably leads the nation in oddest first year ever. Tehachapi Unified School District Superintendent Stacey Larson-Everson. Stacey, public safety power shutoffs, crazy weather, and now a global pandemic. What a year to be a first year superintendent.
It's definitely been an interesting year, but I couldn't think of a better place to be or a greater team to be a part of. So I'm very happy to be here. And, these are challenges for everyone, and we just figure it out together and make it work.
So what's it been like so far here in this COVID-19 crisis? Huge adjustments in education, among other parts of our lives. But, let's go right to it. What are you seeing and hearing, and what's it been like?
Well, the first thing is it's been filled with a lot of questions from staff, from parents, from the community. Everybody wants to know, what's going to happen? What is it going to look like? And I'm really proud of our team here at the district. We have incredible staff who mobilized very, very quickly. And immediately on the first day of the school closure, which was March 18th, we were able to get the grab-and-go meal service already in place. And that was just, we were able to do so because of the fast thinking and actions taken by our staff to apply for a waiver with the state and the federal Department of Education to enable us to do so. And we were already serving those grab-and-go meals again on that first day, which was Wednesday, March 18th. And since that time, we've been able to increase our meal services and expand out to more far-reaching areas of our community. So what we did is we just looked at our bus stops and routes and tried to anticipate where we have large clusters of kids and families. And so we started implementing Sand Canyon and Pine Canyon so that we would have access for our Sand Canyon families. And we started up the food service there, as well as Pioneer Park and I Street, Bright Lake and Banducci, Stallion Springs CSD, in addition to the schools that we were already serving at Jacobson, Golden Hills, Tompkins. And those are all areas now that our families can check our website and look at the time span. And Monday through Thursday, we are distributing breakfast and lunch. So what happens is when the families pull in, they're able to get the lunch for the day, that day, and then get breakfast for the following day. And on Thursdays, they'll actually get breakfast and lunch for Friday as well. So I think this has been very effective. I can tell you, I just got off the phone with my administrative team, and just today, we served 706 meals.
Wow.
So this is a big push out to our community, lots of support for our families. I'm really grateful to our team of food service workers and our transportation staff because they have been out there. They're all gloved up and their masks on and their sunglasses, but I'll tell you what, underneath the mask, they have smiles on their faces. They're happy to see the kids, and we're serving 600 and 700 meals a day. So that's the first thing that we did, was mobilize all of that, because we know with the loss of income that many of our families are struggling, and we want to make sure that our kids, it's that hierarchy of need. First, we want everybody to be safe, have shelter, have food, and then we can talk about learning.
Well, and you brought up the mobilization, and there's obviously that was one part of it, was the meal service, but then there wasn't a page for this. I mean, we have an emergency operations plan in the city. Global pandemic did not have its own chapter. And I'm sure for you, you have an emergency plan, but really schools closed forever, for the time being, and we can't even meet at all, is not anywhere in the operation plan. So how was it like just trying to figure out distance learning on the fly, get lessons out as quickly as possible, and really getting the educational materials put together and really in a very short time frame?
Right. Very challenging, as you can imagine. But once again, I have to just say we have an amazing team, not only here in the district, but our county colleagues down at Kern County Superintendent of Schools. And, as superintendents, there's 46 or 47 of us throughout the county. We've been working together and collaborating under the direction of our county superintendent, Mary Barlow. And that's been really great to have the collegiality and support. The first thing we did was get enrichment materials out and available to the kids. So that was quite an undertaking in and of itself, because we were trying to distribute 2 weeks worth of academic support in a packet form to more than 4,000 kids. So just the duplication process in itself, and then distributing, our hallways were filled with boxes of academic material, but it all worked. Once again, staff stepped up. I was out there myself as well. We were all gloved up and passing out those packets. And what was great is I've never seen so many kids happy to get homework ever in my life. But, they were all really cheerful. The parents were happy because, they want their kids to be busy, and not only busy, but continuing to learn and grow academically. So the first thing was just getting some support out to families. But honestly, those are enrichment materials, just kind of to make sure our kids don't slide back, and, that they keep their heads in the academic game, so to speak. And we're really still working on the whole distance learning piece, because distance learning, everybody thinks it's moving to a virtual classroom. And it's not just that. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is that we still have to talk to people. We still have to, communicate with our kids and with our parents via telephone and email and so forth. So we've done a lot as a district. Once again, kudos to our technology department, and they really have been working 24/7. So what we're doing right now is we are activating 2 Wi-Fi access points at all of our school sites and the district office. And those are being installed this week. We hope they'll be ready to have the switch flip on Monday. But what that will enable is families that don't have internet service at home, or teachers or other staff, but primarily our kids that don't have Wi-Fi service at home, will be able to drive into the school site when they're doing their meal pickup, and they can jump on the Wi-Fi, access the resources and learning tools, download those things onto their device, and then go back home. So we'll be able to maintain social distancing, but yet make sure that everybody does have access to those technology-based resources. So that's one component of it. The other 2 pieces connected with that are that we're going to be loading MiFi devices onto our meal service vans. So when the vans go out to these remote locations to deliver meals, those families don't have to drive all the way into a school site. They'll be able to connect to the internet right there while they're getting their grab and go meals to access the resources. And then we're initiating a Chromebook checkout to our students. We anticipate early next week. So what we've been doing now is issuing Chromebooks to those teachers that may need a device at home. And we're wrapping that up this week, as well as loading the materials and resources onto the learning platforms. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes with teachers attending trainings virtually, lots of Zoom conversations to get everybody ramped up and ready. But what we're hoping to be next week would be that our kids that need a device have one, and that anybody connected with the district, kids, families, or staff that needs internet access will have that available to them as well. So that's a lot of stuff that has mobilized very quickly to, bridge this gap created by the pandemic.
Well, and with the kids today, they are raised in technology. So I think that this generation, it's going to be a lot smoother than it would have been if I was at my age when I was in school and, we didn't have computers, but just trying to figure out something different. These kids they're dialed in, they're ready for this.
I think that they are, but again, I want to be cautious, because our kids need more than just the technology tools. They need the social emotional support. They need the care and the connection with our teachers and with our staff. And, that doesn't happen in a virtual classroom necessarily. It takes care and attention and effort to go into those aspects of the work that we do with children. And so, that hasn't gone unnoticed as well. We're looking at how to do that. We have lots of kids who are experiencing something very different within their household. There may be financial difficulties where there were none before. They may have parents who are first responders and are not available to, parent and supervise learning at home in the same way that they previously had. There's a lot that's out there, and kids are people too, and they get worried. They hear all the media, and so we have to pay attention to those aspects as well. So while we are getting all these learning supports online, we're also exploring ways that we can kind of maintain a sense of normalcy for our kids. If you go on our website, you'll see some of our principals are posting daily announcements with the Pledge of Allegiance and joke of the day, and things that kids can develop a routine and log in and see familiar faces and have some comfort in those routines, as well as get information and continue in their personal learning journey. And again, I can't tell you how the fantastic job that our teachers have done in not only developing packets and handing them out, but reaching out one-on-one. Principals calling kids to wish them happy birthday. Standing out where the food service is providing the grab and goes with signs that we miss you kids. And, all of those things I think are really important and make me grateful to be here in Tehachapi.
I think when this is finished, and obviously we're going to have a different normal and school will look different. We don't know what school's going to look like yet. But I guess the good news is when school is back, you're going to probably for the first time ever have the most excited group of students at every school to be back at school. And you guys can kind of hold that over them a little bit. Like, you might pretend like you don't want to be here, but we know you really want to be here because you sure missed us when we weren't available.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it's the number one thing that I hear from our teachers is how much they miss the kids. And when we have our gatherings on a daily basis, I say gatherings, but they're through technology, our meetings with our administrative team, and people share, bright spots of what happened in their day. It's always centered on kids, and that they connected with the family, or were able to provide resources to a family and students that needed it. And, that's the good part of our job, that most of us came into education because we wanted the opportunity to work with young people. So there is a lot happening behind the scenes, and we don't know what school will look like. And I think it's particularly challenging for our high school seniors right now. I know those parents have a lot of concerns about, college admission and AP courses and SAT scores and, all those things. And naturally, I'm a parent of 4 children. I understand these are things that, we would all be worried about. And then layer into that there's no prom, there's no graduation, there's all of these things that, are sort of like life milestones, right? And so we're working hard to address those issues. Our CSUs, our state colleges and universities have been very collaborative. We have information that we're sending out to parents at the end of this week just about those practices and how credits will be provided to students. And that's one thing I would say as parents, I can't say don't worry, but I would encourage parents not to worry about those aspects, because the state, our county, and the district, we're all working together, as well as the college board, to make things happen for kids. So those kids that were already planning to go on to a college or university, those pieces will come together and be in place. As far as the graduations and promotions and proms, we're really trying to be innovative and think outside the box of how we could recognize the achievements of our kids and celebrate them. And it definitely won't look as it has traditionally, but we're not going to let these lifetime events go by without proper recognition and celebration. So our team is working on that and reaching out to our seniors themselves to hear what they'd like. And we're all putting our heads together because we're gonna make it happen one way or another.
Yeah, we did something. I'm bringing it back just when I was working at CSUB. We had an issue one year where when they changed the schedule and they went to a semester, we did not. Our baseball team wasn't able to participate in commencement because they were playing in their conference championship tournament. And so we had a senior class that wasn't able to actually graduate with everybody else. We ended up during an award show, we did a little mini graduation, let them all walk across the stage and announce the senior class from the baseball team that missed the commencement ceremony. So I think down the road, maybe in 2021, you bring the class of 2020 back and they get a graduation after the fact. I mean, you hear the story all the time. The 100-year person who went off to, the 100-year veteran went off to war in World War II, never got to graduate, and he graduates 90 years later or 60 years later. So I don't know.
I sure hope it's not 90 years.
Yeah.
I hope we can do something now. I'm confident that we will do something, as the school year closes out. Like I said, it may be less traditional, but we're not going to let it go by without commemorating that special time. And then again, if there's that opportunity in the future to provide a secondary recognition that is more traditional, we will definitely look at doing that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can't imagine. My thoughts the entire time with the school stuff has been that senior class. And the good news is kids these days love a good story, and they're going to have one heck of a story to tell down the road. They do miss out on a very fun time, really, as a senior, because if you've handled your business, a lot of the time that second half of your senior year, you get to enjoy just your friends one final set of months before you all kind of go your separate ways. So I can't imagine what they're kind of going through now. It's a especially tough time too, because we know, and I went through it and a lot of folks have, you go from that high school to college transition, there's so much uncertainty as it is, and then you kind of add an uncertainty on top of an uncertainty. And I think in the future though, what we'll see is we'll probably see this class of 2020 being they'll be very strong leaders in the future, because having something like this compound on top of everything else will, at least at the very minimum, serve as a good life lesson.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Corey. And, I think there's definitely a lot that's on all of our minds that we're concerned about, but we have an awful lot to celebrate as well. And this is a great community, very strong families and staff, and everybody's working together because we want the best outcome possible for our kids. And so, yes, it is a special time for our seniors. And all I can say is I know our teachers and administrative team are going to work together along with parents to try to make it as special as we can, recognizing, again, that is that life event that's come up. But we know they're going to go on to do great things, whether that's college, career, or military. Our kids are going places.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sitting here looking, not only wondering what school's going to look like in the fall, I'm wondering what football's going to look like in the fall. That's, me. I don't know. I mean, we don't know what athletics is going to look like in the future. I mean, from every level, from professional to college to prep sports to youth leagues. But yeah, I mean, I've told people, prepare for a really weird fall sports season. I think it's going to be different just on what the state may or may not allow.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And, beyond our high school kids and junior high kids, I even think about the impact on our youngest students, our preschool, our transitional kindergarten and kindergarten kids. These are kids who are just getting used to being away from mom and dad, and learning how to socialize and share and, be in school, and just starting their, educational careers of learning how to read. And, I want to make sure that all of our kids get that strong foundation that they are entitled to and that they need. And so there's a lot to get figured out. There really is.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, as I mentioned, I think the bonds that are being created, though, between these kids and their classmates, because they're going to miss them so much. I really think what we're going to see is probably a little bit of resurgence of caring about one another even more when they do get back to whatever school looks like, in the future, because they're not going to necessarily take a lot of this for granted, and they'll probably enjoy their teachers a little more too.
I would imagine so. I know their teachers are going to be very happy to see them when that opportunity presents itself.
Are you getting any feedback or hearing any stories from whether it's the kids? I know you said staff misses the kids, but are you hearing anything back from parents or some of the students themselves that what their experience has been like through this last few weeks?
Well, being a superintendent, I don't have a lot of close interactions with the students myself, except when I've been out at the school sites, either at the meal distribution, the packet distribution, and so forth. So every time I've been out there, I was out at Tehachapi High School yesterday as packets were being passed out to kids. There was staff there. Again, staff was really happy to see each other, and the kids were excited. The kids were excited to be there, to see their teachers, to be happy about getting homework. And it was the same case last week. I was out at San Canyon. The kids were very happy. When this all started and we were doing the first set of packets, I was over at Tompkins Elementary handing out, and people were so gracious and so grateful. They were just completely appreciative of staff being there and handing out the work for kids. They have questions, but you know what? I didn't hear one single complaint. All I heard was gratitude and people with smiles on their faces, happy to see another human and to have work to take home for their kids.
I know you've probably there's so many questions from parents and that kind of stuff coming in. Is there anything that we didn't cover today that you might want to get out to the parents and the students and things that are, that are still important here as we continue on in this modified school year?
Yeah, I think the most important thing I would say is if parents need information or support, to contact the district, email me, call here. We are returning calls. We are responding to email. We will find a way to get you what you need, whether that's information or a device. We're on your team, and we want all of our kids to have what they need so they can continue in their educational journey. And I know we have parents who are anxious that they want to check out Chromebooks and they want information about what that's going to look like. And I will be sending out a message to our parents through email and through our phone call system, and it will also be posted on the website. Our next message is due to go out tomorrow on Friday, and hopefully that will answer many of their current questions about how do I get a Chromebook and where can I access the internet. And we're trying to get a message out weekly so that parents stay informed, but at any time they can reach out to our staff, to their school, and they can stop by our meal service program. We are here. So we haven't closed up shop. We're ready to respond to whatever their needs might be.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, I hope one day you write a book about the craziest first year ever. I think that'd be a bestseller.
Thank you guys for inviting me. And yeah, it's been a crazy year, but all of us are a little bit crazy. So yeah, we just make it work. And you guys have been a great team. It's been wonderful to work with yourselves and with Greg. That you guys are excellent partners, as well as, we have a lot of great partnerships going on in this community. Yeah. So if we all have to be someplace in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic, and you know what, I choose Tehachapi.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, we want to thank you as well. I mean, just to somebody who's faced with these types of challenges on their first year on the job, it's been very impressive to see you just keep working through it and figuring it out. So we're lucky to have you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, you too.
You're listening to TehachaPod.
And that was Stacey Larson-Everson, the superintendent at Tehachapi Unified School District. Yeah, Key, I can't imagine having a first year like she has had, but what a job she's done and really figuring this out on the fly, because no one had a playbook for this.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine, and then her district being spread out. It's rural, but you got people out in the West End over in with Cummings Valley School, and like she said, she's got students coming from San Canyon. She's got different geographic areas, and trying to think about all the students. Kudos to her and her staff for putting together what they're able to do on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's been kind of figuring out quickly as they go. So, folks, if you have anything else you'd like to ask us about or potential future questions on the podcast, media@TehachapiCityHall.com is our email address. Email that in and we'll try to address it here on TehachaPod. Keith, thanks so much, and we will do it again very soon.
TehachaPod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of TehachaPod.